Hello and welcome back to the Only Swans Podcast, where we are coming to you with our first podcast since the action began in the new season. We've had opening day, we've had all the build-up, and now we can see what all the teams really look like. So, what have you made of the first couple of games so far?
I think it's been a mixed bag, isn't it? You know, you start off with the Middlesbrough game.
Yeah.
I thought we looked pretty good for the first half, to be honest. We didn't look too bad. We looked quite nice in possession. There were points where we moved the ball pretty well, but in the second half, you know, it was probably a 0-0 game, wasn't it?
It
really?
was, yeah. And Sheehan said as much, really, in the fans forum. And I think it was pretty clear to anyone who watched it, really. It was a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
Decided by a set piece.
Which I predicted.
You did, yeah.
We even got a comment about it.
Yeah, I was looking through the comments earlier today. I saw that as well, and it was eerily accurate. You said Dale Fry's good for a goal from a set piece, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we conceded to a Dale Fry goal from a set piece.
Ball knowledge.
It was a good header, but it kind of...
He was pretty much unmarked, and he was like... Someone said he was like Tyman's man, but I don't understand why you'd put a left back on their biggest set piece threat. But
it compounded an issue, which was an issue in that game, which is and is at the moment. But we'll come on to how we're looking to address it. But the team was very short.
Yeah. I think we have an average height of 5'11" in the team, which I mean, it's not too bad, but you know, we don't have anyone particularly massive that we can win the ball.
It's Burgess and Cabango, and that's pretty much it. Because even at the moment we're playing Cullen up front, aren't we? Which is 5'8" he is. So set pieces we did look vulnerable. Mm-hmm. I said that before the season. I think I said that last time we were on here, maybe, and that was how it came to be, really. But it was a pretty poor showing from both sides, really.
Yeah, and you know how I see it is you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, because we went to Middlesbrough, you know, same time last year, got the exact same result, and nobody really cared. So
just glad to have that out the way.
Exactly, you know, we never do well at the Riverside. I think I also said that. So you know.
It's one of those grounds. Britannia is similar, whatever it's called now, Stokes, where
about 3-6.
Of course, I'm a few years out there.
Britannia, 2006.
The Bolton still play the Reebok in my mind, but no, it's a couple of grounds where we just never seem to get anything there, and it's one of them. But all in all, a pretty terrible game of football, really, and two poor sides. And the only thing that really struck me that was a little bit concerning in that game was some weird positions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, and this has been addressed, but we played Galbraith as an attacking midfielder and Fulton as a number 6. Now, Fulton is good at breaking up play and putting in tackles, and it's certainly good for a yellow card. But he's quite technically limited, isn't he?
Yeah.
So to play him in that role was weird.
Yeah, and I think the two games after the Middlesbrough game have shown that, because Galbraith has played a little bit deeper and he's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that Sheffield United game. It was a sort of tale of 2-1 Nils, wasn't it? And I thought we were excellent, I'll be honest. I don't know what you made of it, but I thought we were really, really good. Yeah,
I thought we were fantastic. I mean, there were so many points in that game where I looked at us and I thought, wow, we're playing really nice football. You know, we looked really good at on the edge of their box. I think we entered their box 19 times or something, which isn't too bad. I think we entered the final third 61 times. Like, we looked really good and we looked on the front foot.
Because Sheehan talked in that fans forum. Obviously, he did. This wasn't streamed, and we were given sort of strict instructions of do not film it, but he talked a fair bit did a presentation for about 40 minutes about tactics and sort of certain things we were trying to do. Really, really interesting. It was really good. I would say go and watch it, but you can't. But for those of us who were there, it was really good. And he talked a lot about wanting fast football and intensity. And I think that was what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, especially from the midfield 3, the intensity was unbelievable.
Yeah.
We talk of there's a bit of a sort of lingering debate, which is we lose and you don't know what we're trying to do. Well, when we win, it's very clear what we're trying to do, in my opinion.
Well, I think you see that one example I can give. We just look as I said, far more on the front foot. There was a point in that game where Yalkue won the ball and he was running in, trying to get, he was running into the box, trying to get a shot off. Like, how many times have you seen our centre mids doing that in previous systems? Matt Grimes running through as a box crash or something. It never happened.
That line breaking run that he did, obviously in the corner, he sort of
Yeah.
dinked it over a slide
Yeah.
tackle almost, didn't it? And was off. And really, that was quite exciting. Could have scored. Ronald had the shot. Maybe should have squared it back to either him or Cullen. I think it
Yeah.
was waiting there, but ultimately it was Ronald who came up with the goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Great finish as well.
really good finish. Yeah, I mean, composed was my takeaway from it.
Yeah.
That could easily have gone into Rose Ed.
Oh, absolutely.
And he kept his cool, wrapped his foot around it really, really well. And it obviously a second goal in a week for Ronald.
Well, I think he's someone we definitely need to mention. I think,
yeah, 100%.
you know, we got asked, you know, is there an agenda against Ronald in the last episode? And we obviously said no, he just needs to improve a bit. And clearly he has. He's been unbelievable. He's been our best player.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
He was good at Middlesbrough. I saw every Middlesbrough fan, they were saying the best player on the pitch was one of their players and then Ronald.
I'd agree with that.
I think he's been fantastic.
I think he's been excellent so far this season in all 3 games, really. Sort of shown glimpses of what we first saw almost in terms of bit of fearlessness. Really wants to just take on a man.
Yeah. Well, I think his problem was he just wasn't direct enough. And now he's becoming more direct. And it sort of links back again to this, you know, Sheehan wanting us to constantly be on the front foot, be really intense with our play. Like, it does just sum up the system.
Yeah. And I think someone like Ronald might be a beneficiary of us trying to play like that. Him in a slow possession system doesn't seem an obvious. Obviously, Luke Williams was here when he first signed, but it doesn't seem an obvious fit for what gets the best out of him. I've always said I think there's real talent there.
Yeah.
He's just frustrating.
Yeah.
But when it all comes together as it has in the past 3 games, he can be really, really good. And he's shown that. And I'm glad he got the goal because it was well deserved after the first couple of games. I wish he'd scored that one in Middlesbrough. That was a hell of a strike. The one he just missed, wasn't it? But he's been a real stand-up performer. Yeah. Anyone else would you say caught your eye in particular?
I think we said Galbraith. You know, Galbraith has been fantastic. I thought Cameron Burgess looked really good against Sheffield United. You know, there are obviously questions about him so far in pre-season and at the Middlesbrough game, but I think he really showed why he is that marquee signing. He looked solid.
I thought he was outstanding. Yeah. I mean, he gives us something different to Darling, doesn't he? And I think the comparisons, I'm hoping, might stop soon.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're particularly helpful. But what he gives us is one-on-one defending. He is excellent.
Yeah.
And such like subtle things he does. Like he puts his body across people brilliantly.
Yeah.
Some of his passing out from the back wasn't brilliant, particularly in the first half, but I think he was just getting settled. And one-on-one defending and the amount I noticed he helped out Cabango as well.
Yeah.
That could be a really good duo.
Definitely.
I think his experience will come to really help us. And you can see he's a leader on the pitch already. He's organising. He's people, you know, people are coming on and deferring to him.
Yeah, well, he was given the armband against Crawley as well, wasn't he? So
I think by all accounts he is vice captain, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Which to come in and be made vice captain immediately says a lot about your pedigree, doesn't it?
I think we also need to give mention to Anusa and Waddell, who when they came on against Sheffield United really changed the game.
Yeah,
I thought.
I agree. What I like about Anusa is he's quite physical.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big lad for a winger, like as in quite chunky. Like he's powerful when he runs in terms of, you know, he can leave a man for dead. Yeah. But also is not going to get bullied off the ball. Because I think we saw that in the first half with Arm. And then Anusa comes on and it provides a different challenge.
Yeah.
And did really well for the goal.
Yeah, he was great, I thought. And Waddell, you know, he won the ball back tons. You know, he just made us look sort of... Our midfield's a bit more all action now, isn't it? There's sort of, you know, there's a lot more drive in them. And I think he pretty much summed that up. He pretty much epitomised the intensity that Sheehan wanted when he came on.
Yeah, because he sort of looked to drive it high up the pitch for more. I think he played a bit more advanced than Yalkoué did, didn't he? But the standout performer for me, a man of the match on the day, was Ethan Galbraith.
Yeah.
Is it too early to say he's going to play in the Premier League one day?
He definitely is, and I hope it's with us. I mean, how we got him for so little is unbelievable. I think we said that we were very lucky they didn't go up because, you know, you would have signed a new contract and have been, you know, like a £4 million, £5 million player. But wow, he's so good.
He's unbelievable. And the things he was doing on the ball, you know, composure, but also really tenacious as well, looking to put a tackle in. Yeah. I think he's fantastic.
He's got a bit of
Every game
everything.
he's played, he's looked excellent.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Neat and tidy on the ball.
And his finish against Crawley as well.
Mm.
And the,
I mean,
the
two
disallowed
finishes
goal.
against
Yeah, they were
Crawley,
both
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, obviously one of them was chalked off, but 2 excellent finishes against Crawley, I agree. But yeah, there's a lot who impressed me from that Sheffield United game. It was a case of it could have been more if we had a recognised striker on the pitch, isn't it? Now,
Yeah, 100%.
Whether Cullen is or isn't, we'll come on to that later. But I think we were lacking a bit at the top end of the pitch, weren't we?
Yeah,
especially in the
definitely.
first half. And Cullen, not their finest day at the office, but that's fine. There were 9 others on the pitch who performed brilliantly.
Yeah.
So as you said, I don't think there's any cause for concern there. And in other games, we will score more goals.
Oh, absolutely.
Before we move on, they were awful.
Yeah, they were impressively bad. Surely Gus Hamer isn't going to stick around there for very long. He only got like 17 touches. It was like his least touches on the ball in a Sheffield United trip.
Oh, he was anonymous considering what
type
Championship Player of the Year last season, the type who you worry about every time he gets on the ball.
Yeah,
completely anonymous. But I think they are a bit of a club in sort of crisis. Did you see the reaction at full time?
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's not going well when there's a row of stewards having to hold people back from making gestures and trying to get onto the pitch to remonstrate with the team.
Yeah.
After the second game of a manager's reign.
Mental. Absolutely
it's a bad
mental.
start, isn't it? But of course they're one of the worst sides in the league. As it stands, but there's no point judging the table after 2 games. I think they will
got a great squad still.
100%. This is the core of a squad that got over 90 points last season.
Yeah. And lost due to a strong touch by Kiefer Moore, Yeah.
Yeah, it is mental to when you see them like the money Sunderland are throwing around.
Yeah.
Sheffield United lost 1-0 to us on the weekend in the bottom 2 of the Championship. And Sunderland are spending £200 million in the Premier League.
With Granit Xhaka in the middle.
Granit Xhaka in the middle. As captain, It is crazy. The next 2 then, we've got Watford and Sheffield Wednesday. What do you make of those in terms of 2 tests for us?
I think they're very awkward games to judge, aren't they? They're both a bit, unknown. Watford and Sheffield Wednesday have both sort of gone very strange routes with their appointments, haven't they? Especially Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I think we'll probably start with Watford, but Sheffield Wednesday's feels more enforced than anything else, doesn't it? But Paolo Pezzolano, isn't it, is the Watford manager. Remember that because he probably won't be in 5 months. But we'll see what his Watford side have to offer. I think they're in a very similar situation to us. They lost 1 game, or they lost 2-0, and then won 2-0 on the weekend. So hard to judge them really based on 2 games.
Yeah.
Who would you be looking out for in terms of key performers potentially for them?
Don't
say one of them's a goal threat, please. Because we don't want that again.
They've made some really nice signings, haven't they? Irakuden does like an absolutely ridiculous signing, I thought. So
he's a name we've heard about for years, isn't he?
Well, he's just a football manager, If you play football manager, you know who he is.
Him and Garan Qual, wasn't it, were the 2 sort of highlights of Aussie football. It hasn't worked out for either of them, but there's obviously a player there with Irankunda. He got his first assist on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Looked really, really good.
And he's lightning quick as well. He's very fast.
Same with Quadro Bar, who didn't start last weekend, but will probably start against us, you'd imagine, on the other wing. Now, Josh Tyman is fantastic going forward.
Defensively,
a little bit suspect. And if Bar is at the races, then he could have a very tough afternoon, couldn't it? I don't know what you've made as well of their new striker, Luca Kiermgaard, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He scored 2 against QPR last Saturday and looked a real handful.
That was also a very big signing, wasn't it? I think there were quite a few clubs in for him.
Yeah, he came from, I think it was the Danish second tier, which is quite rogue, but loaned to Udinese, immediately joined Watford with an obligation to buy.
Standard.
Don't ask any further
very
questions.
Interesting.
Very above board, I'm sure. But yeah, it's going to be a tough test. 12:30 as well.
Yeah, another one of those.
Yeah, another one of the many Sky games.
Another game I cannot go to. It sounds
Can you
great.
not?
I got a match.
Ah,
So
how many do you reckon you lose by this week?
hopefully not that many. Hopefully
How many times you picked the ball out of the net last week?
7, 6 maybe. I don't know. I was playing Mumbles actually.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, look up Carwyn Bowen on the Cymru Football app if you want to see a sea of red as it goes down the screen.
There's a green somewhere.
There is a green somewhere.
There's
I
a
did
green.
look the other day, but you've blame the team.
No, I'm not blaming my team.
Yeah, that's a very good team. Mate.
Up the Sandfields.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, maybe they need a new keeper.
Who knows?
What do you make of Sheffield Wednesday then? It's, a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough one to predict, and I mean, fair play to them because they're going to go into every game just so spirited, aren't they? It's sort of it's a similar situation to when, any tragedy sort of happening at a football club. They are just band together by the fans and by the will to play for the football club, So I think it is an awkward one to predict. I mean, they looked good against Leicester.
They really did look good against Leicester. And I think a lot of people expected them to be a complete basket case.
An absolute drubbing, yeah.
But what is quite bizarre is obviously they've only got something like 14, 15 contracted pros. But amongst that, they can put out quite a good team.
Yeah.
Because they have a team in amongst that, if you know what I mean.
Like, they got Barry Bannon signed a new contract, didn't they? So
what a captain. He is. He's a real threat. Every time we play them, I fear.
Yeah.
He is still a magician.
And he's someone we could have had not too long ago, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 35 years of age and is still
so good, yeah.
A joke. He scored a ridiculous bicycle kick on the weekend. They obviously lost 3-0 to Stoke.
Yeah.
It's their first game at Hillsborough this season. I don't know if you've seen this, there are protests planned for the game against us involving teddy bears being thrown onto the pitch.
Nice.
Which is not one I've heard before, I'll be honest. Seen tennis balls.
Yeah.
I think Reading and Blackburn did tennis balls. Never seen teddy bears. But that could be quite a sight. And obviously, we've been there as a club, haven't we? With ruinous owners and the petty days. And there's, support them in whatever protest the fans are looking to do.
Absolutely. I think we should be getting behind them 100%.
100%. Yeah, I know there's a protest, and we'll share details this closer at the time. There's a sort of appeal from the Wednesday Supporters Trust for people not to spend any money in the ground, which, I think will encourage people not to do in the away end, whatever. Obviously, some people will, of course, but we don't want clubs being driven out of business.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's sort of a scary reminder that you're never that far away because they've thought they were out of it for, pretty much two years ago. They thought they were back in the good and they got promoted, and now, they're back the same way. And you look at Morecambe a few weeks ago, it's a constant issue in the EFL, and it can happen to absolutely anyone, to be honest.
It nearly happened to us, didn't it? Maybe
Exactly.
20 years ago. And ultimately, I think what kind of gets forgotten in these situations, like what's happened to Wednesday, is it's the fans who suffer, but it's the employees who aren't earning 50 grand a week. It's people who are struggling to put food on their table for 3 months because an owner in Thailand, in Sheffield Wednesday's case, has decided to turn the taps off.
Well, I was reading about the Morecambe situation, and one of the staff members said if Derek Adams hadn't paid their rent, they would have been homeless. And
then he got sacked, which mental.
Yeah.
But it's Sheffield Wednesday we're focusing on here. They've got Henrik Pedersen in charge now, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was Danny Roll's assistant. Danny Roll, I think, is what kept that club basically where they were, isn't it? In my eyes. They still have some threats, though, and I don't think we can look at, even though they lost 3-0 to Stoke on the weekend, I don't think we can look at them as complete whipping boys.
No.
We know what Jamal Lowe can do on a football pitch.
Absolutely.
He did it for us on 2 separate spells. They've got a fantastic young keeper in Pierce Charles. Obviously, his brother Shea was one of the best players in Championship on loan there last season. Bailey Hadamatri is a good young striker. They've got a solid defence. They're not going to be...
No, they're not pushovers by any means.
No. And it's a tough place to go. And any ground... I don't think it... I mean, they went 1-0 down after a minute against Stoke, which kind of perhaps ruins that, I don't know, rallying around the flag that the supporters would have. I think it probably will be quite toxic the day we play her. And even though it's not toxicity directed at us,
it will feel very toxic.
Yeah, that's still a tough atmosphere to play in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if the game gets stopped 10 minutes in.
To remove teddy bears from the field, yeah.
I shouldn't laugh. It shouldn't laugh.
That is a hilarious protest.
It's a really interesting way of protesting. I've seen a few Wednesday fans be like, what are we doing here? But I'm all for it. I want to see a load of teddy bears on a football pitch.
It's quite an expensive way of protesting too, isn't it? Because you think like they do tennis balls, because you can get them a sports direct 3 for like,
and you can take a few in. How many teddy bears can one fan take in?
Well,
how many teddy bears do you reckon you could get into a football ground?
Depends what they are. Probably about 6.
Like the giant IKEA teddies.
Oh no!
I don't think that's what they're asking.
Surely someone's going to bring one of them.
Yeah, I think. But apparently, I've seen stewards are welcoming. This has turned into a conversation about teddy bears now.
And Sheffield Wednesday protests.
Yeah,
we've gone on. So Sheffield seems to be the theme.
It is
of
the
this
theme
podcast,
of the episode. Yeah. Well, tale of two Sheffields.
Yeah.
Both
shit.
Both of which are at the bottom of the league. But if you're watching this and if you haven't seen about the protest and you come back and watch this after and there's been teddy bears thrown onto the pitch, you will now know why. And you'll have an in-depth analysis about teddy bear protesting as well.
There we go. So far, we've seemingly managed to skip any mention of the cup. But obviously, we played Crawley in the week. What did you make of that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game to judge, really, wasn't it? Because it's amongst the easiest ties we could possibly have had.
Yeah.
They are one of the worst teams in League Two at the moment, at home. And we used it exactly how you should use the first couple of rounds of the Cup, isn't it? We saw a couple of fringe players, Cooper played, who might not, we might not see much more of him. Wales came on and got some good minutes and scored, which I think was great for him. And we used it to try out a couple of things, and Galbraith was excellent in that game, and Uso looked lively. Ronald obviously scored. Timon just looked a joke against League Two opposition. But we hardly got a second gear, did we?
The tackle on Franco.
Oh, God.
What did their man just say as well? Just good British challenge.
Didn't tell me he didn't say that.
He said something along the lines of like, I don't like to moan about the refs or something, but that's just a good challenge. That's a good meaty two honest players going in for honest players.
There was nothing honest.
That was you could hear it in the stands.
Yeah, I think it was a shin pad you could hear, but it was like it was a ridiculous challenge.
Completely over the ball.
Yeah, because it was one of their players who injured Matt O'Reilly on his debut. Yeah. I'm not saying they're all a bunch of thugs, but
convenient. I think old British managers really have a bit too much of an obsession with the game's gone now, don't they? They're slightly
a certain type of manager you see.
Good meaty challenge. He's broken his leg, mate.
Yeah, it was a terrible tackle. It was an obvious red card. Even if it was caused by a bit of a loose touch, wasn't it? And you see a lot of those challenges all the time. But it was still a terrible tackle.
The ref was fantastic in that game, by the way. I've got to say, rarely do I see a ref come down to the Swancom and think, wow, he's had a good game. But the ref was pretty good. He's better than them, anyway.
Couldn't say that about Saturday.
No.
Well, he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad, but he was just a referee who loved to referee.
Ref support follow us on Twitter. I do not want to upset them because they are relentless. They're registered.
No, he was a referee who loved to referee. Let's put it that way. He had a whistle. He had cards.
What's the Garth Crooks quote?
And he was going to use both of them.
Yeah, the Garth Crooks quote about Mike Dean. He has to be the star too.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. I bring back Garth Crooks team of the week. I miss it. It's not the same with Troy Deeney.
No, his are even funny, actually.
Salah, right
really
back.
dumb.
Yeah. Garth Crooks team of the week used to be a brilliant feature. But yeah, he was a referee who loved to referee. But yeah, as you say, the Crawley game, it was really good. And we got Plymouth in the next round, isn't it?
Yeah.
And opportunity to do something similar, I'd imagine.
Again, yeah, that's quite a nice draw, isn't it? At home again, nice and simple. Should be, really.
Just glad we avoided Cardiff, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't fancy.
They've got another easy draw, so we could be playing them in the next round.
Just don't fancy playing them. Not for any like scared of them. Just don't fancy it. Just a year
nice
off.
to have a year.
Yeah. Just want to miss them for a year.
Yeah.
Not as in miss out on playing them, as in like, no, I don't miss
you
them.
miss them, yeah.
No, I don't miss them. There was a lot of that when they went down, when there were people going, "Oh, I'm gonna miss the derby." I'm not.
It was we had too many in a row. I felt like genuinely, I was just sick of it. I was sick of traveling up on the bus every year, fed up of it.
I wish they'd gone down after the 3-2 Cabango, and it was only like a red in point deduction that saved them. That would have been so perfect.
Yeah, no, but last season was pretty heritage, but we won't delve
we won't
into
talk
that
about
too
that.
much.
We'll
So
get
new
into that
signings. Obviously, Malik Gilkoué played. On
Yeah, he made his
Saturday,
debut, didn't he?
And we did touch on him. He looked pretty good.
Some lovely touches,
debut,
yeah.
yeah.
A couple of things, a couple of moments where he's probably a little bit out of position, but God, he'd been on a training run for, at best, he'd had one session.
Yeah.
So you can't
And
blame
he's
him
thrown
for that.
straight in as a starter.
Obviously tried a couple of things that didn't come off. That's fine. I'd rather him try and make something happen than not, and then look nervous and, a bit safe on his debut. Certainly didn't do that. I thought he looked really good.
Yeah.
Certainly, he's not, he works hard. He's probably not the most meaty.
No.
In terms of...
That's why he's compared to Kante, really.
Yeah.
He's very diminutive, but...
Really worked hard.
Yeah.
And some lovely touches as well. But I mean, talked about that opportunity he created basically all on his own, which should have been a free kick against us because Jon flew into that.
I couldn't
tackle.
believe that challenge. That was
even still, he did really well out of it.
They told him to beef up and instead he started snapping people.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The fact he's got a really long throw in him will never not blow my mind.
Yeah,
He does not. If you had to pick someone in our team you'd expect to have a long throw, it's probably the last one.
Yeah. In terms of midfield as well, we've also been, well, I would say linked, but we have pretty much signed Marcos Domenic. What do you make of that one?
Well, we thought it would be announced soon. It like is in
still
soon after
not
the game. It
announced
still
once
hasn't
we're
been announced
filming
while
it,
we're
yeah.
recording. It's quite weird. I assume he's training this week.
Yeah.
It is weird how he hasn't been announced.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice sign-in. I think all the career mode lovers out there, JB Swans, big shout out to him on his retirement. Marcus Domenic was a free agent on FIFA about 2 years ago, and I remember everyone signing him. So I tracked him a little bit because I signed him on a Portsmouth career once, and he seems a pretty decent player. Obviously, he had a bit of a tough spell at Olympiacos last season, but they're a Champions League club, like.
Yeah, 100%, and I don't think you should judge him on that. I mean, any player who ends up at Mr. Marinakis' Nottingham Forest is always, and isn't like an obvious start, it ends up on some weird paths. I mean, Josh Bowler in it.
Bunch of side quests.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. But I know Stamenic really nearly went to Coventry.
Mm-hmm. And their fans hate him for that as well, for turning him down.
Mainly that was pretty much what we had, because obviously we...
on our quotes,
got the story on that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was pretty much what we had from Coventry fans.
Yeah.
Was all like there's like 100 quote tweets and it was pretty much all Coventry fans going, well,
break his legs,
all
the common. But I really like it as a signing. I've seen a lot of people question why we're signing another midfielder, and besides the fact that Jay Fulton and Ollie Cooper could potentially leave, I think it's pretty obvious that we play a very high intensity system.
100%.
We can't play with the same three, and we definitely need more than four, I'd say. The depth is key, and I've talked about it so many times in the last few weeks about how I like that we're signing depth finally. But having 5 midfielders who could all play, there's no like clear definite star out of them, is fantastic. Like,
it is making me laugh that we've got depth for the first time ever and we don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just never happened before. All the comments are like, well, that must mean Franco's going. It's like we just can't cope with the idea of depth.
Every time we sign a player, it's like, who's out then?
And I'm the same. Every time you look at it going, right, what's our best 11?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we might not have a best 11.
Can we start 15? It's a rugby ground.
Well, not anymore.
Is it the moment? They haven't moved yet.
They're playing Bridgend now.
Do they? Brewery Field.
We won't have that. Won't have the turf being torn up by rugby matches now. Hopefully,
well, might not have a rugby team soon. So,
true.
We won't divulge.
Yeah,
into
we won't do rugby.
We're not only Ospreys. That's never happening.
I don't know. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. We have talked about it.
Well, it potentially has a very short lifespan. So
it does.
I do not watch the Ospreys.
Yeah, we don't want only Scarlets, do we? But it was. I think we started talking about rugby. I've completely lost my train of thought.
We keep going off on very rogue
we've been on a
tangents.
few tangents today. This has been a
Side quests again.
a lot of rambling. No, Marcus Damanic. I think we needed another midfielder in terms of profile.
And to get one of his quality is
Exactly. I mean, we're paying
fantastic.
a chunky fee for him, aren't we, by the sounds of things? About £4.5 million is what's being rumoured, which is a lot. I mean, initially I
think it's
it was,
with add-ons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I assume it is included in that.
Yeah. So that's
Initially, I assumed he was a loan when I first heard his name, and I think that's what we
I thought
were
he was a
initially
loan
trying for. But it's a really good signing. We are lacking a big six, which is exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Someone who will break up play. He's good on the ball, bit of height. I think he's exactly what we need.
I think it just shows our ambitions, to be honest. You know, we've shown real ambition to get 4 midfielders through the door this window. Like that's really impressive.
At the end of last season, we'd have Franco, O'Brien, and one other. So we'd have some games where it was a Fulton game and some games where it was an Allen game on it.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see a lot of Galbraith, Franco, provided he stays, which I assume he will, and one other. And in games which were expected to be a bit more under the cosh and probably need to bully a team, it's Stamanic. In other games where we expect to control the ball a bit more, it's probably Yalkue, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in a few months we'll be looking back on that period from last season and just laughing at the fact we were looking at Alan saying, yeah, hopefully he does another year. Like, because
I'm not laughing. I'd have loved him to do another year. He's still got
our midfield now, though. Just pure youngsters, pure talent. Like,
but I do look at that and think, I bet they could do with a bit of an older.
Bit of Joe Allen.
Bit of Joe Allen, yeah.
Get him in as a coach or something.
100%. I absolutely adore that guy. But it was that Oxford game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was so good. It's like, he's still got so much.
Last ever game on a pitch.
Yeah.
Putting it out.
He's still got so much left
after
to offer.
Craig Bellamy brought him back from retirement for Wales and brought him on the pitch. I thought he was just going to be, during Chris Gunter was sort of just getting called up by Rob Page to be there.
Good around
like
the
their
camp.
mates, but he was playing.
And still looking excellent.
Except for the Croatia mistake. But we didn't even lose that game.
So. No, exactly. That was made up for. But he was... and I think, but we've rebuilt our midfield in a way that I kind of didn't expect us to this summer. I don't know why.
I just didn't. In January, we struggled so much to get a midfielder. It's kind of impressive that we've managed to just bring so many through the door this window who all look
Jacob
absolutely
Wright
quality.
Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? With all this lot. But I think, as we said, it's nice to have depth in a position, isn't it?
On the topic of depth, we definitely need a striker still.
I don't think it's depth. I think it's
we have
starting
plenty
striker.
of strikers, but
when we came into the summer with after Wales signed 5, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and we've got rid of 2 so far. Wales is obviously a youngster. Vipotnik, clearly not fancied, I'd say.
No, I don't think so.
And is Cullen a striker? I don't know what you think. I don't think he is.
I think Cullen's better behind the striker. Yeah. I think he's a second striker at a maximum. You look at the way he played with Perot, and that is the best I've ever seen him look, I'd say.
Yeah. And I think what a typical Liam Cullen goal in my mind is, he comes in, late run into the box, cut back, and he puts it in. And he's the best finisher at the club for me.
Well, as we've seen on the pitch, obviously there's talk of Vipotnik being some phenomenal finisher.
But he's missed a hell of a lot of sitters.
And I think, just touching on Cullen, I think as a player, he's really hard done by. I don't know whether it's just because of, the average sort of footballing IQ of our fan base, not in a horrible way.
It's not like you. We need to have a pop at the fans. It's really different to your usual style.
Not in a horrible way, but he's not one of those strikers you look at. Like, I'd say a lot of our fans, when they look at a striker, they think, Michu, score goal. They don't think...
I know what you mean.
Cullen is a presser. Cullen is a hard worker. Cullen's someone who likes to bring other people into play. And I don't think that's sort of a role that people quite understand. And it isn't a role that really suits us, to be honest. We do need an out-and-out striker.
And what's weird about him is sort of a lot of what he does is probably what you'd expect not from a striker.
Yeah.
And he... is a little bit disrespected by the fan base. I do agree with you, even if you are the worst person ever for biting the hand that feeds you. But I've said it before, any other club, I don't understand it. Any other club where you got a local lad who scored 12 goals up front,
Yeah.
who's supported the club since he was 8. Or, you know, been on the box since he
And
was
he
8, supported the club.
genuinely loves the club.
Yeah.
You know, like they announced the home kit this season by doing like a child's bedroom with him in it and like a full
his
Swans
bedroom.
bedroom. Yeah, like I mean,
No, any other club and he'd be adored. I don't really understand it.
we are very strange that it's the same that like Capango was in a similar situation a few years ago where when they
Roberts
were
used to get lost. It is.
when there were links to West Ham and stuff, you know, people sort of wanted him gone, didn't they?
There's a lot. It was a weird perception. I suppose. I think I can kind of put my finger on what it comes from. Is like because our academy lads were of such a ridiculous level with
We expect so much. From them,
Davis,
and when
Allen,
they can't
James.
perform every week, then it's not.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, he's delivered us plenty of goals, and if he delivers a few goals this season, double figures, you know, that would be a
you know, I
brilliant
think it's
return.
one of them where if he scores against Watford, if he scores against Sheffield Wednesday, people will be less worried about our striker situation. It's one of them. I don't think he is a 9. I really liked when Craig Bellamy moved him, you know, into a deeper midfield role because I think that's what he's good at. You know, he's good at hitting people and pressing the ball. He's good at bringing people into play. He's good in passing situations. Like, you know, he isn't really a striker. I think Russell Martin pretty much hit the nail on the head from, I think it was game week 2 of his reign or game week 3 when we played Preston away.
Yeah.
He had Cullen playing as like a centre forward behind Perot and he got the assist for the goal where he chipped it over. Now, that was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but I think that was, you know, sort of his perfect role. And when he came back, he played the exact same
Derby.
role.
I remember last year that game with Protnick scored that ridiculous goal. He played as a number 10 then and was withdrawn forward and was unbelievable. We'd be linked to a lot of strikers.
Yeah.
If they're a striker of a certain level around Europe, chances are we've probably been linked to them. But there's something which binds a lot of these players together in terms of the profile we're looking for.
Yeah.
Which probably this is kind of what everyone wants. But we're looking for someone quite big, physical, and quick, I think, who is a real presser.
Yeah.
It's clear what Sheehan wants for a striker. He wants a striker to lead the press, isn't it?
And I think that sort of sums up the perfect Swansea City striker in my eyes. Like when I envisage a Swansea City striker and I look at a Michu and I look at a, you know, Lorente, that's what I picture. You know, an actual big man who is more than just, you know,
A big man with a
lad
bit
up
of substance.
top.
Yeah. Basically someone who's big but isn't Kiefer Moore, where he always used to say if he was 6 foot, he'd be a postman. I think he always said. But like, you know, somebody with a bit more to them, isn't it? I mean, so the number we've been linked with, one of them was Willem Goebbels or Jubels of St. Gallen.
Yeah.
He's gone to Paris FC.
Kevin Carlos, who we'd previously been linked to.
Yeah, and I think we were really in for by the sounds of things.
And he's gone to Nice now.
Which you can't blame him.
Yeah.
Ligue 1, top end Ligue 1 club, and he has to live on the French Riviera.
We've probably missed out. You know, like he's gone to Nice. You know,
I can see, obviously, of Basel, I can see why he chose to go elsewhere. Richard Kone as well. Yeah. How serious our interest was in Richard Kone in the end, I don't know.
Quite know, yeah.
I don't think anyone will ever know. He's gone to QPR, so that one's gone. Reports in Spain today that we've had an offer rejected for Villarreal striker Hector Ayong, but he doesn't sound particularly keen on the move, and Villarreal don't particularly want to let him go, so I doubt that one will go any further.
It's a very, very interesting situation we're in right now because I saw, I don't know if you saw Vital's post about it, but he hit the nail on the head, to be honest. He said, like, striker's the hardest position to sign because, you know, I'm summing this up here, but because everyone now has the same data on strikers. So if you want to look for a good striker, everyone else wants him too, and everyone wants a striker. Obviously,
yeah.
It's the one position that's pretty much,
I mean,
not interchangeable.
It's kind of not surprising because last season there was such a dearth of good strikers in the Championship.
Yeah,
you look at probably maximum about 6 clubs who weren't in the market for a new starting striker this summer. I mean. You got Hegerbo at West Brom, Adjaman at Derby, Downs at Southampton. There's more Morris at Derby as well. Just huge amounts of clubs dropping big fees on strikers.
Because striker's one position as well where teams will charge that premium. You know, you can get away with maybe penny pinching in other positions, like in centre midfield. We got Galbraith for pretty cheap for how good he is. But if there was a striker at the same level as Galbraith, you know, we'd be paying about 8 million quid for him. Like
look at Richard Kone. He had a year left on his contract, performed brilliantly in League One. He goes for best part of £5 million all in, as opposed to 1.5 for Galbraith.
Yeah.
Who's probably a superior player, just in a less in-demand position.
Yeah.
So we are going to have to get a bit creative, aren't we? Where do you stand on sort of trying to get more out of Vipotnik? I don't think we'll do it, but I don't know what you think about it.
I wouldn't agree with it. I'd love to see Vipotnik come good. I would, but like the squad looks fantastic at the moment. I think, sort of like the Arteta "I can fix you" gimmick isn't really something I want to see us doing.
Yeah, but we aren't signing people from Chelsea, which is the classic Arteta one, isn't it?
No, but and I like Vipotnik, and I think he's got a lot of good qualities about him. But at the same time, he's just too slow.
He is a bit.
He hasn't got that pace to be up at this level in the league. Even if he's fitter.
Apparently he's a lot fitter this season, but I also think the fact that, he was a new substitute on Saturday. Bobby Wales was brought on only for 30 seconds, but brought on ahead of him when Cullen was clearly out on his feet in the end.
Yeah.
To not bring him on, I thought was really telling. So I think we obviously are in the market for a new striker, but it's whether we keep Vipotnik around or look to move him on. I don't know.
Probably alone if we end up signing another striker, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
We could well keep him around. I mean, I
wouldn't be shocked.
As depth.
Yeah. I just question perhaps if we are in the market for a big striker, obviously we want someone with a bit more pace and a bit more in terms of pressing, which Vipotnik isn't very good at. I think you question if we brought in someone big, a good presser, quite quick, why would we then need
You'd want
Vipotnik?
a more athletic striker.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have kept Bianchini.
No. Don't sit here and make that argument.
No, I don't think I could make that argument.
No,
yeah.
But I struggle to see the role for Vipotnik then, and
we're clearly desperately trying to sign a striker. So there clearly is not much of a place for him.
No, and you've talked about using data to try and find some players. Well, we've done the same thing. We've put together a bit of a striker wish list. Obviously, we did this before at the start of the summer, and McBurney was your name.
Yep.
He has gone to Hull. I had Roman Burrell. He's gone to QPR. I did mention Mark Harris as well, but I've moved on from that, given what we obviously want now. If I was to choose a Cardiff striker now, it would be Saleh, because I think he'd actually be a really good fit for us, but that would obviously never happen.
Yeah.
Tell me about the two names you've got.
So my first permanent name is Martin Kars, who plays at FC Magdeburg in the Bundesliga 2. He was one of the top scorers in Bundesliga 2 last season. I think he's 26. He's 6 foot, so, kind of a big man. And he's Dutch. He came from the Dutch second division last season. He was their record signing, actually 800 grand I think they paid for him. He's put up good numbers the last 3 years. I mean, I think in his 2 seasons in the Dutch second division, he scored 14 and 21, something like that. And then last season he scored, a fair few goals in the Bundesliga 2. And what I like about him is I think the Bundesliga 2 as a league does translate pretty well with the Championship. Yeah. You look at did Ayo Tanaka come from Bundesliga 2 or did he come from Bundesliga? I think he came from the Bundesliga,
but he's played there in the past. I mean, they talk about the Bundesliga 2 as the second best second tier, don't they? Mm-hmm. Which I suppose it does, as you say, would translate well. What sort of player is he then?
I think he's a slight bit of a target man, but at the same time, he's he can get the ball to feet, he can hold it up well and bring other players into play. I honestly, I think he looks pretty much like what we'd want.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never heard of him, so
I hadn't
trusting you
really.
on this.
I've watched Magdeburg because I support Arminia Bielefeld as well, don't I?
I forgot about that.
But
why? What's the reason behind that again?
I like the kits and pro clubs.
Right, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
when I was like.
I thought it was going to be something.
When I was like 14.
I thought it was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
And then we're doing one permanent and one loan, because I could see us dipping into the loan.
Do you want to go for your permanent next?
Oh yeah, may as well, isn't it? So I've gone for. We've probably got to thank Tristan, and we bet Tristan Venn for both of these, because he made a list of strikers. Both of these were on there. I know you found yours without that, but he sort of
he was on
alerted me to the idea of this one, so I will thank him for it. It's Noah Ohio, so might be a familiar name. Played on loan at Hull for half a season a couple of years back, did really well. He's now been playing the past couple of years for FC Utrecht in the Netherlands, so I'm sticking on with the Dutch team. Dutch under-21 international and scored 7 goals in 10 games for the Dutch under-21 side. Has excellent youth pedigree. Came through, spent time in the youth ranks at Man United, at Man City, and at RB Leipzig. Came through at Leipzig, even if he never made an appearance. Played for a number of clubs, Austria Vienna, Standard Liège, Hull, as I've already mentioned, and now Utrecht. And has always had a very good goal record in very limited minutes. Now, that appeals to me, and it's not just because he's Dutch. That was basically what we signed Pro off.
I was about to say, the Netherlands are phenomenal at producing strikers.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a place I'd like a striker from.
And he's really quick. I remember him at Hull. He only ever started 1 game, but scored 3 goals. He had a goal every 80 minutes for Hull, which is a ridiculous record, even if only in a very limited sample size. Really strong, powerful runner, excellent finisher. Like, I watched all his goals he scored for Utrecht earlier. Real variety of finishes, which is always good. Bit of a poacher, looks to try and find the corners as well. It's a couple of really good strikes from range. I mean, he's got a cannon of a right foot. If we could get somebody like him and really make him the main man, I think he could be really special. And I think he could be reasonable as well, because he had a $3 million move to Seattle Sounders. Yeah. Collapse early in the window because he wanted to stay in Europe.
Yeah.
Now, if we can swoop in a little bit below that, around about £2 million, I think that could represent excellent value in this market. Still really, really young, and just has all the tools in my eyes.
I think that's a really nice option.
I think I like those sort of players who you look at and go, well, they've done really well in limited minutes. Give them more minutes. It doesn't always translate.
Yeah.
But in his case, I think it could. If there's a place to find value in the market this summer, I think Noah High will be an excellent one. And he's got a little bit of experience in the Championship, as everyone always says that I'm obsessed with. But even if only 240 minutes, but look good in that limited spell. So who have you got for your loanee?
So my loanee is Jayden Danns from Liverpool, who I think is a pretty decent option. I don't see him as somebody who could probably start every week for us just yet, maybe. But I don't think he's a bad option as a loanee goes. I looked at Lewis Kumas, who I thought was
more of a winger, though, isn't he, I suppose?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What do you make of Dan's? I mean, obviously he had a loan spell at Sunderland last season and was injured the entire time.
Yeah.
That is a worry, isn't it?
But he's obviously, he's very quick. He's very highly rated by Liverpool. I think there's a theme with a lot of Liverpool sort of winger/strikers who go to the Championship and always tend to succeed. I mean, you look at Ben Doak, you look at Ryan Brewster for us, so he's a type of player I would like us to take a hit on.
Yeah, I think he's really good and plays, I mean, with a composure as well. I've seen that is way beyond a young striker.
Absolutely, yeah.
Often you see a young striker sort of completely snatch his chances, don't you?
Yeah.
He doesn't do that at all, remains calm, is excellent in front of goal. I really like Dan's, as you say. I'm not sure I'd want us to hang our hat on him. But that's not because of ability. That's availability for me.
It's just if we wanted another option, he's the one I'd go for. And I mean, a team who got promoted last season took him on loan. So
yeah, exactly.
That really speaks volumes about his
level. I think he's one of those, a bit like Louis Barry when he went to Sheffield United this season, of like a loan spell where obviously we haven't seen it in the men's game like we have with Barry, but a loan spell where it all went a bit wrong in terms of injury. Really tarnished his reputation, and I don't know why. Because he hasn't played. It's not as if he's gone on the pitch and been rubbish. I feel like there'd almost be more interest. There'd be more interest in him if he had played but hadn't performed. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird one. It often happens like that. But I think he's one that, if we were to send Wales out on loan, isn't it? It's probably the one we would be looking at. Now, this one's quite ambitious, mine.
Extremely ambitious.
It's extremely ambitious, but I'm looking at a trend which I'm seeing this summer, and a trend we've been beneficiaries of, which is young players signed by Premier League clubs from abroad, who said Premier League club is looking to get them a bit of experience in the English game. Now, if you're a Premier League club signing a youngster from abroad and you want to get them a bit of experience playing in the EFL, the obvious place is the Championship.
Yeah.
So Eli Junior Krupi, of Bournemouth, but previously Lorient, and I know they have the same owner. Lorient obviously played in a friendly a few weeks back. He's 19 and scored 22 goals in League 2 last season.
He is ridiculous.
He's the real deal, isn't he?
I've got him in my FPL team in case he plays because I just could see it happening. He's so highly rated as well. Like
the trend I'm looking at is basically Nipan has obviously joined Middlesbrough today. Incredibly highly rated youngster. Yalkui with us. Yeah. It's looking to exploit that sort of trend. Because as much as he is brilliant and scored that many goals in League 2 last season, I don't see him immediately.
He's probably not ready for the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately going into the Premier League and tearing it up and playing for Bournemouth. They've got Evan Neal's son.
Yeah.
And Ronald, if he's back fit up front. Do they look to get him out on loan and play some games? And if so, it's the Championship.
Yeah.
It's got to be. And it's just an unbelievable young striker.
He can also play a
22
range
goals.
Of roles as well. You know, he can play deeper too. I think he's the real.
Play out wide.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Scored 22 goals as an 18-year-old in League 2 last season. 5 goals and 3 assists in Ligue 1 as a 17-year-old the previous year. Only started 23 games last campaign. He's really quick. Not the tallest. He's 5'11".
Yeah.
So he's not short.
Tall,
And he may be a little bit bullied in the Championship. He's not the most physical. But you just can't look past that record.
He's such a good footballer. He's the one player that I sign on every single Football Manager save without fail.
Yeah,
I signed him on my Swansea save, and I think he was like the best footballer of all time, potentially. Like he was genuinely.
And he's a French youth international. He's got unbelievable pedigree. I have no idea how he ended up at Bournemouth, I'll be honest. Yeah, it's only the common ownership thing, I think, that's done that. But if we could get him in on loan, he'd be the dream Premier League loanee.
But again, very ambitious.
It's very ambitious.
Very. But Middlesbrough got an iPad, which I can't quite believe.
That's what's really thrown me onto this. It's like, it's worth an inquiry. It's one of those. It's worth an inquiry. I'd probably
just pick up the phone and
exactly. What's the worst they can say? I'd probably rather go for a higher in terms of as a permanent, just because I think he's got really high potential. But if we could get Krupi on loan, give it a go, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'm sure he'd be brilliant.
We'll move on to the question segment now. Molly Jones on Twitter has asked, what is our best possible midfield 3, including Stamenic?
So obviously I haven't seen a huge amount of Stamenic play. I have seen Galbraith, Franco, Widdell, and Alcui now all play for us and previously as well. Yeah. I think I'd go for a Galbraith and Franco +1 for me. Mm-hmm. Galbraith is obviously an absolute Rolls Royce player. He's an all-rounder. Franco is just the most incredible off-the-ball player I've ever seen here.
Yeah.
The stuff he does is ridiculous. And the intensity he plays with is a joke. Mm-hmm. For someone who, how can I put this, isn't the best pro in terms of lifestyle, to be that fit, the guy is just a freak of science.
Yeah.
He is an absolute freak of nature.
To love a beer and be just like able to move around that much.
Is unbelievable. He is a joke. And the level he found in the second half against Sheffield United, I couldn't believe it. Even if the way he goes into tackles terrifies me. Every single time he just flies in, doesn't he? Yeah. But he is unbelievable. I cannot believe it looks like we're going to keep him. As much as I said I think he would stick around.
There was always something lingering in the back of the mind that surely he goes.
More of hope than expectation. I thought one of the big 3 in Portugal would surely come in for him. And then it's +1. And I think it's really hard to answer between Vidal, Stamenic and Yalkui. They all offer something different.
Yeah.
Yalkui is another one I think is going to be pretty special, but isn't the most physical in terms of like pure strength. Is perhaps really good in challenges and stuff like that. But I think he is the one for the sort of game where we will look to dominate it a bit more. Yeah. Stamenic is obviously one for games where we're going to be under the cosh a little bit, and he's going to break at play, and he's going to be physical and deal with perhaps sort of diminutive attackers they might have. And then Vidal, I probably wouldn't include him in this yet because I think he needs a bit of time to be eased in.
Yeah.
Having seen him play, I think he might be best as a super sub to start.
Yeah, he looked really good off the bench.
He looked really good off the bench, brings energy, but I'm yet to be as convinced by him as I am by the others.
Yeah.
I'll go Yalkui, Galbraith, Franco, just because I've not seen a huge amount of stamina yet. That might change. But that midfield three on Saturday looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially at home. I think we'll see a lot more of Yalkui at home than away. A lot more Staminic away than at home.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So we won from Boris on Twitter. Do you think we'll invest in the EFL for a striker or look to go abroad?
Well, I think by, my suggestion in the previous segment and the fact that, we've been putting bids in from a lot of strikers abroad, it's pretty obvious that we'll probably be looking abroad. I think there's a lot more potential value abroad right now
100%.
because I don't see many EFL strikers who we could sign who aren't going to cost us an arm and a leg to start with and are truly going to, there's a bit more of a ceiling to a striker from the EFL, I'd say, than a striker from abroad right now.
The only ones I would have said to look at for championship clubs would be Kone and Salek.
Yeah.
They're the only two for me who are gettable for championship clubs from the EFL who are, going to raise the level massively. And Kone has gone to QPR and Salek, well, there's rumours that we've sniffed around, but they'd never sanction a sale
are
to us.
quite clearly sniffing around for any striker on the planet Earth 100%. For the moment, to be fair.
So I agree with you. I think we'll look to go abroad, and I think it is the right decision. We may well find an absolute gem abroad.
Yeah,
it could go wrong. Could go wrong.
It's gone wrong. It's gone wrong a few times now, but that's just the reality of transfers. So
I think we are shopping in different waters to when we were looking at Kukurevic.
Oh, absolutely. I think our problem with them, I was thinking about it today on why they quite haven't worked. We've sort of signed them based off their profiles, didn't we? We signed them on they could be this. But I think now we're signing players more on they do this, they do this, they do this, they are this. Which I think is a far better strategy.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are looking at clearly a different caliber of player. I mean, Kevin Carlos or Bianchini, you're looking at two completely different, and Gerbils as well. You're looking at two completely different levels.
And again, Bianchini's a player who could be this. There was this little era where we signed Cho'ong, Kukurevic, and the next summer we signed Bianchini.
And we're building profiles.
We were trying to sign Cho'ong to play him potentially as a left-sided centre back. Kukurevic to be this big, massive target man, and it was just never going to work. I think our transfer strategy now is far more sort of revised, and under Montague it clearly looks just a lot more stable.
And Adam Worth as well. He seems
Adam
to be
Worth.
the sort of. I know Montague's getting a lot of the praise, and rightly so.
But Adam Worth should be too, definitely.
Yeah, he seems to be doing a lot of good work. He even gave it to him
in the fans forum, didn't
he?
Said,
there's been a lot of talk of how well he's been doing since he came in. I would say, 100%. We won't be shopping for a striker who scored 5 for Hibernian, will we?
No, fingers crossed.
I think we are looking at a different level of foreign recruitment now.
For sure.
And obviously this striker, I think, kind of has to hit, really.
Yeah.
But I'd be absolutely stunned if we brought in someone. I could only really see it. It's only Salek, really, isn't it? It's the only, and you'd be absolutely gobsmacked if that happened.
Right.
Funny.
Yeah.
But gobsmacked.
Right. Your next question is from Jonathan on Twitter, who asked thoughts on Saturday's attendance and the ticket sales.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? It was, 15,000? I mean...
For a season opener.
And it's disappointing when you consider quite how well we were doing at the back half of last season. I mean, we packed out the ground towards the end of the campaign. So for it to suddenly fall again is really disappointing. Because as we said, I think we said this last time we were on here, I don't know what more we could have done. We've brought in brilliant players, really proactive summer. We've got Snoop Dogg and Luka Modric involved. A competitively priced ticket as well, I think.
Yeah.
What more can we really do?
I was discussing this in the group chat the other day, and I don't know if you read what I was saying or listened, because I was sending voice notes too, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty annoying, innit, really?
I always listen to them.
Yeah.
The transcribe feature on Snapchat has been a game changer.
Yeah, because I send you them at 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
2-minute long voices. But yeah, I think this is, to get fans in that ground now, I think it's too late for sort of a short-term solution. I think it's a long-term project. As you know, I lived in Liverpool for 2 years. I've spent a lot of time in Manchester. I've been to a lot of big cities and seen they are football clubs, for example, and you can't go to Liverpool without it being in your face 24/7 that the two football clubs are there, Liverpool and Everton. At the end of my road, there was a mural of Jurgen Klopp. You go down the street, there's a Trent one, there's another one, there's another one. They're absolutely everywhere. And obviously, that's a hard thing
Part
to
of
do.
it is for tourists as well,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? But
that's a hard thing to do. But you need to sort of start trying to wove the club into the fabric of the city. Right now, I said it the other day, I think that the club is sort of just there. Not many people from the city truly support the club. They might say they support the club, but they're fair weather fans. They don't actually really support.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the obvious one for me would have been the Snoop Dogg mural should have been in town somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. It's just about you tell me that if we had 10 murals in the area near where the pub's going, which I think is a fantastic initiative. Again, that's a good start of what I'm trying to say here. I think people would be inclined to go round and look at these murals and look at just things linked to the club,
And the biggest thing ultimately is the product on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had we turned up and steamrolled Middlesbrough the week before,
yeah, there would have been more.
There would have been a lot more people there. The only area I will give the club some criticism, and they have looked to remedy this already today, is I think the promotion of the game was really shoddy.
Yeah, the day before they posted the Sheffield United one, and basically, the website was down too.
The website was down. Yeah, they said about that.
Pretty poor.
Ticket sale issues.
I've got to say, I am filled with hope from what Tom Gorringe said in the fans forum. Do you know, obviously he talked about the fan park, which we've tried many times before, but this one seemed a much more built up plan. He didn't really want to go into it too much. He didn't know how far it had gone. But when you go to Bristol away, you've seen them, Bristol City away. They've got a huge fan park with loads of food and stuff. That's what I imagine. I don't imagine some crap marquee with a pub and a penalty shootout ring. What's the point?
I agree.
I imagine something such bigger. And obviously, there's there's that gondola that they're planning to do, which is not that far from the stadium.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the fans forum. I'm not sure what the exact sort of plan was. And they talked about the Copper Jack now going up the Towie as well.
I think the plan is that it'll obviously, the area around the stadium, sort of during the road from when you exit the stadium and you go all the way down to town. I think that area is sort of becoming much more built up, if you get what I mean. There's a lot more options in between that area, like a gondola in Swansea, for God's sake. That's absolutely ridiculous. But
town planning on the Only Swans podcast.
Council better be watching.
But no, forget the club listeners. It's the council we need. But no, I think I agree with you. I think that the club needs to probably do a little bit more in the city.
Yeah.
But we're starting. I mean, the pub is a huge
step
towards that.
I think it's a really good initiative. How many times I'll go in there? I don't know. I'll probably go there once. Maybe.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. If we don't go there, who is going to go is a bit of the logic in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't see myself going there very often. I mean, I have a pub of my own. I don't really need to go there.
Yeah, you specifically don't need to go there. But if you're on Wine Street, surely it's a trip to the Swansea Jack.
And that's a fantastic start. But again, they just need to work on attaching the club to the city, truly attaching it, making people,
as you say, weaving it into the fabric of the city.
When we lose a game, the city should weep. That sort of sense of
I like what you're saying.
It's a rogue metaphor, but
it is. But I do agree with what you're saying.
The club should mean a lot more to a lot more people around here, because we are lucky to have a football club. I always think that before we were even born, pretty much, or when we were just about born. That's how old we are. For anyone curious, we are that young.
You're not. Well, whenever that track jacket you're wearing is from the 80s.
This is 20 years older than me. But we are so lucky to have a football club, and I think people don't quite respect that in a way now. That 20 years ago we almost weren't a thing.
We almost had to throw teddy bears onto the
I think we did much worse.
We can't bring teddy bears back.
No, we've talked about teddy bears enough.
No, I agree with you, and I think, as you say, the pub is a huge step forward in that, and I think the product on the pitch will be the biggest thing, but they need to promote the games better across social media would be my big takeaway, and I think they will look to.
Yeah, for sure.
The only final thing I will say about the pub, Jack Bar was right there.
No, that's awful.
Bring back, if they don't,
the Jack burger.
Bring back the Jack burger. Surely, if they're doing food, there's got to be the Jack burger.
Oh God! What
Bring it
they
back.
call the Snoop Dogg beer drop like it's hops. We get worse and worse every year though.
Probably, yeah. That's gonna be fun.
The play on words they drop every year. They just seem to get.
You've just said drop in relation to that.
Yeah.
Awful pun. Pint of Snoop's finest, please.
Yeah.
And yeah, so your one for you from Aidan Roberts on Instagram. Who has been Swans' most exciting and effective player so far this season?
We've touched on it, and it's a very, very sort of different theme from what we were saying about him 2 weeks ago, but it is Ronald. Ronald has looked really good, and I think that question's been put there, so we will say Ronald.
Yeah.
But it's true, he has looked unbelievable.
I'd say Ronald.
He's looked fantastic. He's been really direct. He's been really good on the ball. You know, his finish against Sheffield United and his finish against Crawley, you know, both good.
Yeah, that was not an easy finish to make against Crawley. It was on the stretch.
You know, he's looking really good. Whilst I don't love his Sue celebration,
I'll give it to him for the goal on Saturday because it was a really
nice goal
against Crawley.
But when he's doing it against Crawley in the cup,
Sue winning against Crawley is shameless.
But regardless, like,
you know what? If he does it 20 times a season, who cares?
He's been fantastic, and it's nice to see him having a bit of a redemption arc after what was a tough season last season.
It was a really tough season.
I think part of his problem maybe is that he was overused, wasn't he, really? Do you know, I don't know if you remember the season about, you know, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where Marcus Rashford was like Man United's best player, played every single game. He was unbelievable. And the next season, he was like absolutely awful. And it was just because he was done for, because he went straight to the Euros after it. And like, I think
Pedri's never been the same player since that season when he was 17. He played 60 games, whatever it was.
And I think it is one of them where, you know, Ronald maybe was used a bit too much because we literally didn't have another winger outside of Bianchini who was being used up front anyway. So, you know, I think we will still be looking for another winger anyway.
I think so. We've seen links to Cade Gordon today, haven't we?
And two, he's looked great. You know, fair play to him, full credit to him. He's looked really good.
I'm chuffed with him so far, and long may this continue because at his best, he's a really effective player for us. That's, as we said, that's never been the issue. The issue has been consistency.
And he's just so fun to watch, and he's in form, you know, like everything about him just points to just excitement for a start.
I remember Preston game last season. They were like one of the first games of the season.
Yeah.
He tore them to shreds.
Yeah.
That was where my Cardiff Ronald tweet came from because he just looked so good against them.
Another episode, we've got to bring up that Cardiff.
Yeah.
If
Mark Ray wasn't playing for Crawley, I
just
noticed.
know Terry NG, he's going to have a tough evening.
Yeah, Mark Ray wasn't playing for Crawley.
Yeah, you've had some real stinkers.
Yeah. But no, and I shout out Galbraith as well.
Yeah.
Ronald for me and for you, but Galbraith.
Long may it continue for both of them, though.
100%.
Absolutely. Final question is from Dylan on Twitter. Joe's or Verdi's?
Feel well placed to judge this one.
Yeah, you're in now.
I'm gonna go Joe's. Are we going for ice cream? Yeah, got it.
Sure.
Yeah, because what else can you get in Joe's? A Joe's North Pole beats anything Verdi's
if we
has to
weren't
offer.
filming this so late, we could turn it into a vlog and go see both. You know, we're only down.
Murder a North Pole.
We're only down a road.
We are.
I think Joe's as well. I've actually never had Verdi's in my life.
Oh, it is good. Good ice cream.
But I do really like Joe's. But I think not to start analysing Joe's. I think we're a bit too analytical these days. We need
overthink everything.
What I really like about Joe's is kind of not like any other ice creams. It's really like creamy. You know, it's just
it's the best.
It's unbelievable.
The North Pole, I'm obsessed with them. They're unbelievable. Wafers, ice cream, caramel sauce, unreal.
I like their raspberry sauce. That is,
no,
it's a banger, mate.
No, you need some chocolatey. And on that note, I'll let you sign it off. We're going to go for Joe's.
Yeah, very rogue episode from us, isn't it? But
we've been on some tangents.
Some massive tangents. But as always, we appreciate you all for watching, and we'll see you all in a bit. Bye.